Good morning, team. Hi, Archana. Hi, Behra Vijay, Jansi, Pooja,
Hi,
Salman. Hi, Chaitanya.
good morning, sir.
Hi, hi.
Hi Ritesh, good morning.
This is
Uh,
yes, guys. Ritesh will start session. So before that, if you have any questions, as today will be the last trial session. Hope you guys able to understand all these classes for newly joined. Anyway, the old people may have aware about that. Any new people joined, you can ask me any questions you have. See, you are previously joined, right?
Me?
Yeah. Any questions, team?
No, no.
Yeah.
Morning, everyone. Give one more minute more, and then maybe I'll start sharing my screen. By the time, if anyone has any doubts or maybe something related to accessing the recordings, accessing the sessions, because as Mahesh mentioned, right, today would be the last free session for the Power BI. Post which tomorrow we would be starting with the paid sessions, right? Well, um, maybe if anyone has any questions, you can note it down. We would take up at the end of this session. Um, so maybe we'll slowly get started with our discussion, what we left out yesterday, right? Now, the very first instance which I mentioned yesterday, that we were understanding the architecture of a Power BI, right? So the Vertipack engine, what is Vertipack engine? How the information is stored in the Vertipack engine that we tried to understand, or that we tried to go through yesterday. So it's moreover a column based approach, right? Rather than row based approach, it is a column based approach which will read that information, any particular information which is coming from different sources. It's a column based approach. Now, inside a Vertipack engine, basically Power BI has that engine divided into two types, right? If at all, this is the Power BI application which is developed. In that application, that particular engine is divided into two types. One is called as SE. SE is more based on the Vertipack hierarchy, or you can say Vertipack way of working, and one is called as FE. Now, the same engine, the same structure is used in uh, Excel as well. In Excel also, we will have the same structure, same engine. And this same engine is also used in SQL. Moreover, it is SSAS. Now, I'm not sure how many of you heard this word. So there are different words which are used. Words in the sense these are all short forms. SQL Server Analysis Service. It's not a SQL. Moreover, it is a combination of SQL and analysis put together. SQL Server Analysis Service. Right. So we have SSRS, we have SSIS, and we have SSAS. Now, rather directly discussing these two engines, let's try to understand what are these, right? So SSRS is nothing but SQL Server Reporting Service. SQL Server Reporting Service. So SQL Server Reporting Service, you can call this as an outdated version, which is replaced with Power BI. So Microsoft didn't had any reporting tool prior to Power BI, but somewhere it was near to reporting, or you can say it's a combination of reporting and some background, I mean, kind of background or backend SQL services, which was called as SQL Server Reporting Service. We could have done reporting in the SQL Server Reporting Service also, SSRS as well. So it's almost similar like Power BI, right? On basis of which only Power BI is developed, but it is an outdated service. People have already moved out from SSRS to Power BI. Now, what is SSIS? SSIS is used for ETL. If there are any ETL services which we have to do, like if we want to do some ETL transformations, you want to do some extractions, you want to transform it, and maybe you want to load it in a different location. So SSIS is also one of the service which is being offered by Microsoft. Now, this SSIS, you can blindly say that it is replaced by ADF. ADF is the new version, right? It's based out of cloud. For SSIS, how it used to be, you need to manually install a server on basis of which that integration, all that ETL processes used to happen. There has to be some manual intervention there. Manual intervention in the sense, yes, you need manual intervention, a person to need that ETL processing, but to maintain a server also, you need to have a local system which has been replaced by ADF, and ADF is a cloud based, purely cloud based. Anyone can access from any point of time, right? From any part of the world, and at any point of time, anyone can access. So that's the advantage of moving out of SSIS to ADF. So I mean, SSIS legacy, SSRS legacy. These two services are, you can say blindly say that these two services as of now are not used. Or even if the companies are using it, maybe next 1 year or 2 year, they should completely move out of it. Because somewhere Microsoft would end the support of these services. For sure, Microsoft has already started this, and in the background, maybe in 1 or 2 years, it will completely end the support of these services. The only service which is still active is the SSAS. So what is SSAS? It's an advanced version where you can do analysis and where you can do some data connections in the background. So here there are cubes. There is a concept called as cubes. There is a concept called as multi-dimensional model. All that will come into picture. So Excel, SSAS is all developed on the same Vertipack engine which Power BI is also developed. So this engine is basically divided into two types. What is SE and what is FE? It's very easy to understand. FE is your formula engine. It is your formula engine. And SE is your storage engine. E stands for engine, S stands for storage, F stands for formula, E stands for engine. So Vertipack engine or Vertipack kind of structure is what it is, a column-based approach, right? So whenever the information is getting stored inside a Power BI, it will be stored in the columnar format, or even though it is stored in the table format, it always reads from top to bottom, the columnar approach. So storage engine is used for storing all the data. Any kind of data which you connect to Power BI, right? The importance of storage is very, very key for a Power BI, because Power BI has that functionality that it can occupy the data from different sources as if the data is inside a Power BI, and you can do all the calculations so that you will get full flexibility of the data. Flexibility in the sense, like if you are connecting from two, three different sources, you are not the owner of the data source, right? In a Power BI, if you're connecting two, three different sources, you are not the owner. You are connecting as if you're working on the reporting. So Power BI gives us that flexibility to completely take over that data and manage it everything from our end in the Power BI's structure or maybe Power BI's application. So storage engine is also very, very important. And what is formula engine? Formula is where you can do your calculations. If you're writing a DAX, if you're doing any kind of calculations, all that calculations processes via formula engine. All the calculations, any kind of calculations you do, like you create a column, you're trying to create some background query calculations are also done with the basis of this formula engine. So formula engine is nothing but a kind of where you can do all the calculations and you can keep that calculations at a runtime. So somewhere you can call it as a RAM also. Sometimes you can call it as a RAM. RAM in the sense Power BI, inside Power BI, you can call this as a RAM because it is frequently used. The information is always kept in the formula engine. Storage engine is a very slow. Like it will store the information, but it will be slow as compared to formula. Formulas are what? It is executing frequently, right? It is executing frequently. So that's what makes this Vertipack engine a combination of storage as well as formula to completely process all the information inside a Power BI. Now, there are different modes of connecting data to Power BI. Now, that modes we would discuss it in the further sessions. That one of the mode is the import mode. Import mode is frequently used. Maybe you can say 90% of the time people go with import mode only. Only in that case, these two engines would work simultaneously, or both engines will have a flexibility of working in a well mannered. Whereas if you go with a direct query, now what is direct query? In simple terms, import means if you connect 10 data sources, all that 10 data sources will capture the data which they want it in Power BI, and they will create a copy of that same data so that you can do all the data changes inside a Power BI. Though you are not the owner, but you're taking a snapshot of the data inside a Power BI and you have full flexibility to do all the transformations with that data. And what is direct query? Direct query is only connecting the live data. Moreover, it's a kind of data which is frequently changing, and you will have zero authority to change this data. Only you can access the data. Whenever the data is getting changed, it has to be changed from the source side. You cannot do in the Power BI. So in that case, these two engines will not work efficiently because we are not getting full storage of the data because it's a direct query. And if there is no full storage, how would you calculate the formulas? Formulas will be calculated on the temporary data which is available at the front end. So that's the benefit, that if you are going with import mode, and which is, as I've said, right, 90% of the time people go with import mode only. In that case, these two engines will work efficiently. Okay, so this is all about the architecture of a Power BI. Now, if anyone wants to check what is direct query import mode, like if I try to explain it now also, no one would be able to understand. Direct query is not that straightforward, and direct query is only supported for a particular data sources only. It is not supported for many data sources. Almost 90%, as I've said, people go with import. That means 90% data sources support import, or 100% support imports. Only 10% of the data sources have that flexibility that you can switch from import to direct query. Very limited options are there. We will try to see that. But one of the data sources, if I just go to Power BI, if I just go to get data, if I mention SQL Server, here you have an import and direct query, right? So when I try to connect any other data source except SQL, like if I try to connect analysis service, here also you will get import and direct query. Wherever there are SQL related databases, you have that option. Whereas if I want to connect to any other data source, right? Maybe if I want to connect a CSV file, an Excel workbook, or maybe a folder, a PDF, a SharePoint folder, or moreover, any other Azure services, most of the times you will not see that option. Let's suppose if I want to connect to this blob storage, right? And if I just click on connect, see, it is just asking me the URL of that account. And if you directly mention, it would not ask you whether it's an import or direct query because direct query is not supported here. So wherever you won't see that import and direct query option, that means that particular source doesn't support direct query. It is by default import only. Most of the SQL sources support direct query, except which no other source there is no possibility to connect. Direct query is not supported in the all the different sources. Right? I mean, even Power BI or Microsoft knows that there are limitations with direct query. That's the reason they always go with limited data sources flexibility. So, any questions on this architecture? Any questions on this architecture? Any questions on storage engine, formula engine, vertipack, column-based approach? And the reason why am I explaining this is one of the most commonly asked interview question nowadays. If you rewind back to minus 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, people with 7, 8 years of experience only were expecting a question on the Power BI architecture. But post which, right, as I've said, the number of people who wants to learn Power BI are quite a more. Yes, people are more, but only limited set of people knows the importance of these engines, the architecture of people, I mean, the Power BI. And if you can answer this, the answer in the sense people, the first thing what people do is they only read it, they only go through it, and they'll not understand what is it about, right? What these engines are, where the information works, where the information is processed. At some point of time, people forget. Do not forget the architecture. For sure, an interview question is asked in all the interviews nowadays with respect to architecture of Power BI. So you remember this approach. Right. So, anyways, I don't see any of the questions on this. Let's switch back to the Power BI, what we were discussing. Now, yesterday we kind of seen the indentation of visual, right? How do you format any particular visual? Formatting of a page and formatting of a visual. Now, let's try to take some new visuals. Let's try to understand some new visuals today, and then we'll try to compare what is the difference between the visuals what we discussed yesterday and the visuals which we are going through today. Right? So let me take a fresh page. And there is this visual called as pie chart. So what does this pie chart mean? What is the basic idea that people go behind this pie chart? So let me try to take this pie chart, and I assume that you know pie in the sense it's a circular representation, a pie-like structure, right? So let me drag some information to it. Now, pie chart is a circular representation. So what does it mean? How many degrees are there in a total circle, complete circle? Like we have
360.
yeah, correct. We have 360 degrees, right? 490 degrees angles are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 90, 90, 90, 90. Right? So 90, 180, 270, and 360, a complete circular representation. So if it's a circular representation, we cannot expect anything as a y and x axis, right? because it's a complete 360. It's not 190 degree or maybe a 90 or 180 degree, right? So in that case, we would have, yeah, x-axis and y-axis, but this is a complete circular representation. So if you see what all conditions are required here, the conditions required here are legend, values, and details. Now you can easily guess values means some numerical data. If at all it's a values, that means some numerical data will come into picture, right? Now, legend and details, it is up to us to understand what would be the best approach. I mean, what kind of data you can take. Though the details is at the last, legend and values are first two conditions, right? So let's try to understand legend and values. So I'll try to take region in the legend. Now, as I've said, Power BI doesn't mean that if you add one column to any of the visual, it would visualize that information. No, you have to add some other information, right? Other in the sense, values. Values is numeric, right? Without numeric, any visual will not give you some idea. There has to be one categorical information, one numerical information, basis of which a visual will give you some representation. Now, values. Let me try to take sales. So it is giving you a complete 100% bifurcation of 4 regions. 4 different regions, that complete 360 circle, what we have, it is giving you 100% bifurcation, that West occupies 29%. I mean, the central occupies somewhere around 28%, and then the east and south occupies 27 and 15% simultaneously. Now, see, region is there, sales is there. Now we have one more condition, which is details. What does this detail mean? What does this detail mean? So if I just end up adding some value to this details, let's suppose I add details, okay, can it be a numeric or can it be a categorical data, right? Details are there. That means, and if you see, right, legend is what? If you hover on that legend also, the categorical field to show for color. So this is a benefit of Power BI, right? If you are not aware that, okay, what value you can take at a particular instance, like if I click here, if I go to x-axis, fields to be placed on horizontal or vertical axis, okay, fine. The numeric amount, see, wherever there is a numeric, it is trying to display or it is trying to explain that, okay, there should be some numeric information. So for this, if I just hover on the details, each slice is split by categorical field. That means it should be a categorical data, no numeric information, right? So what categorical data I would like to have? Maybe I would like to have a segment, right? We have a segment. I'll drag this segment. See, what is the difference? That pie is still giving you 100% representation, but within every region, this details is giving you sub bifurcation. 100% is still the same, but inside west region, inside central region, inside east and south region, that segment is again partitioning it into 3 types, because we have 3 segments, right? Now how do we identify details? This segment is a part of details, right? It is not a legend. Okay, for legend you can see there are some informations which are mentioned here, but if you hover on that partition only, that for region west and consumer, the complete west region was 29%. If you see, it was 29%. And when I added this segment, inside that 29%, 14% is occupied by consumer, 9% is occupied by corporate, and somewhere around 6% is occupied by home office. So if you want any percentage level bifurcation, pie chart is the best chart which would give you the complete 100% representation of the categorical data. Now, see, this is optional. Details is not always compulsory. It is not compulsory. This is optional. Legend and values are compulsory. Now, some might also have a question that if I take region in the details, I've taken region in the details, and then the values are sum of sales again. See, it is giving you the same representation, only the circle has changed. I mean, the way of representation of circle has changed. Earlier, west was coming towards right, the west is coming towards left, but it is giving you that same percentage bifurcation, right? It is giving you that same percentage bifurcation. So either you go with details or either you go with legend. It is one and the same. Only two conditions are compulsory. Third is optional. You can go with that. Optional in the sense it will give you the sub partitions within the legend partition. Right? Legend is the first component post which on basis the details will give you sub partitioning information. So any percentage level bifurcation you want, this is the best chart, pie chart. Now, what I will do, let me take a fresh page, and there is this 100% stacked bar chart. What does it mean? What I'll go to this particular visual only. I'll copy this, Control C. Let me get this visual here. Right. And I'll only switch this visual. Have I switched it? Oh, we copied the wrong one. But anyways, I'll switch this visual to the 100% stacked column chart. Now, even this is giving you some percentage information, right? Even this visual is giving us the percentage representation. But there is a difference. See here, this is complete 360-degree angle. Overall, it is 100%. But if you try to see this particular visual, it is giving you individual percentage bifurcation. It is giving you individual percentage bifurcation. Now, the only difference is, see, in the legend, it is still the region. And in the x-axis, it is segment. So for consumer segment, how much every region is occupying. Consumer is one complete 100% column. Corporate is one complete 100% column. Home office is complete 100% column. Whereas this is overall 100%. That is the primary difference between a pie chart and 100% column chart or a bar chart. In a column or a bar chart, you will have a separate column, a separate condition for that percentage information. So it depends. Like we have three segments, 3%. I mean, three conditions. If I interchange the position, right, what I'll do, I'll try to take segment in the region. Maybe I will take region in the x-axis and I'll take segment in the legend. Vice versa. So four regions, and in every four region, how much percentage of each segment is occupying, it is giving you that clarity. Individual percentage, individual performance it is trying to give you. Whereas this is overall performance bifurcation. Percentage is what? The performance, right? We're trying to check the performance of which particular region is good. So if you want to go with overall percentage, and if you go, I mean, if you want to go with individual percentage bifurcation, we can go with this particular chart. Right? The only difference is like this is a column chart. If I change it to bar chart, this would become a bar chart. There is no such difference. Both remain same. And in case of 100% charts, see, there is a drawback. What is the drawback? Drawback in the sense, yeah, percentage it is giving you right. But if you see these values, the x-axis values in case of bar chart or y-axis values in case of column chart, 0.10 thousand percentage. What does it mean? Why is it showing it in the percentage? So usually whenever you go with 100% stacked bar or a column chart, it is recommended to go to formatting and close the axis. The values are not required. The numerical range. It is not required, right? If you hover on it, it will give you that tooltip. Fair. Tooltips are good. Maybe if I just go to the data labels, maybe if I want some additional information, I can end up adding some additional informations via data labels. I can get that, right? Maybe if I want, I can add a title to it. This will give you more clarity. Or maybe if any additional information you want, you can get that. Values also you want, you can get the values here directly. Rather having that y-axis to be enabled, which is giving you the percentage, like this values, this is in the percentage, right? Which is not correct. So if you're going with this 100% stacked bar or a column chart, you just have to go to formatting, remove the y-axis or x-axis, vice versa, depending on the chart, wherever there is a numerical information, and try to add better data labels to give it a more clarity. Percentage is what the ideal representation of this chart. So percentage will stay. Along with that, you can end up adding the values. You can end up adding some background to it, which looks good. So this is individual percentage. If you want to check any individual percentage in that, there are some partitions, yes. Like West region has 3 partitions of segment. So every region has that partition. Now, here in the pie chart, is it only it will give you some data labels, right? We haven't seen the formatting options. Pie chart is also one of the powerful chart and one of the frequently used chart. It is for overall percentage level. Fine. I'll just go to formatting. See, if you see the number of formatting options are very limited for a pie chart. That's how, right? Not every visual will have many formatting options. So wherever there are axes, you might end up having multiple formats. Now there is no axis, right? There is only a legend tab, legend or details tab. So slices is where you can change the colors, right? As I've said, if you take some random colors, it would not give you a better view. So what we have to do, just copy this visual. See, if you copy and if you do formatting, you have to do it in the same page. You cannot move it to the next page. So, I mean, there are some rules, right? So I'll just copy this. I would paste this visual here. I will use a format painter because I've already selected this, and I'll apply that same formatting to the background pie chart. Done. I'll remove this. I mean, I could have gone back and done the manual formatting again. But why, right? We have already done a formatting of a particular visual. We can do that. We can apply that same formatting to the same visual. Now let's explore the formatting options. See, the general tab remains same. The general tab remains same. As I've said, general tab is common across all the visuals. So I'll just go to visual, legend. Where do you want the legend to be displayed? Top center, fine. If you want to add a title, you can add a title. Basic option. Slices is nothing but your colors. Now, the most important option is your detail labels. See, pie chart by default only displays some numerical value, which I've taken in the numeric condition, the values, and the percentage bifurcation. That's the primary aim of this chart, right? But if you want to display all the labels, including which reason is it, like some people doesn't like a legend to it, right? We can remove a legend and we can display all the labels. And see, there is an option. You can display it inside also. You can display it preferably inside if there is a space. If there is no space, preferred outside. Now we have only limited partitions. When I end up adding a details condition like segment, here the detail label will matter a lot. Preferred outside or preferred inside. So wherever there is a good amount of space, it would occupy a space. If there is no space, it would be preferred outside. I mean, it is up to us. It is up to us where do you want this values to be displayed. And if you see, for this particular pi, there is no outside value because the visual doesn't allow it, right? It is not, it doesn't have a good amount of space. That's the reason it is not displaying it. See, even though I've increased the size, there is a good amount of space. Why is it not? That's how the visuals are developed. There are certain limitations. You cannot call it as a limitation also. Depending on the space, it would adjust that detail labels. And if you see, again, I'm not sure how many of you really understood the difference. If you consider this particular condition, so in that 100 percentage bar chart or a column chart, what it is trying to do, it is trying to consider this particular partition as one single 100 percentage, which is not possible in pi. Pi will only consider the first legend. In a bar or column chart, this partition is 100 percentage. This particular partition is 100 percentage. Every single partition is 100 percentage. Whereas a pie chart, overall it is 100 percentage. Overall. So if you want overall calculations, you come up to this. If you want individual partitions, then the bar or stacked column chart. 100% is stacked bar or column chart. Now, next to this particular pie chart, there is one more visual called as donut chart. I'll compress this. But if I compress, the readability of a visual is not good, right? See, the values are losing its readability. Let me make it readable. Yeah, now this looks good. Rather, if I take one more chart here, it would not be a good fit, right? So just click on the white space, go to formatting, go to canvas background, canvas settings, custom. I'll increase the width of the page. Rather 1280, I'll take to 1480. Right now, what I'll do, I'll just take a copy of this pie chart, paste it here, drag it, and let's see what is the primary difference between a pie and a donut chart. Zero difference. The only thing is there is some hole in it. A donut, right? A donut. You will have a hole in between. Now, what is the benefit of this hole? Everything remains same. If I just go to formatting also, same options, same formatting options. Then why people go with, I mean, where people go with pie or where people go with donut? I would always say pie chart, okay, it's a good chart. I mean, if you compare pie and donut, I would always go with donut. Why? Maybe let me explain. And see, if you see the formatting options, there is a rotation option also. Like if you want to rotate this chart, at any point of time, I want to rotate it 90 degree. That values are getting rotated at 90 degree. Like I would like to rotate it 180 degree, upside down, 180 degree. 270 degree, it would be rotated into three separate quadrants, like three quadrants would move. And maybe again, if I mention 360, it would be at same position. See, there is no change between 0 degree and there is no change between 360 degree because again, it is coming back to the same position after complete circular representation. So if you want to move some values, there is this rotation option available as well. Now, what is the benefit of this chart? A donut chart. See what we are trying to visualize in this particular visual or what we're trying to understand in this visual, we're trying to understand that there is a legend region. Inside that region, I'm trying to give you a sum of sales percentage bifurcation. And I've additionally added for every region, there are segments, which are sub-components or sub-bifurcations. Now, what I would like to do, sum of sales is given for a consumer one, corporate one, home office one, or maybe if I remove segment, in that case, it is giving us for one single region. Fine, this looks good. But what I want is, I want the complete sales. What is the total sales? I'm not aware about the total sales, right? It is giving you the partition. I want total sales. So in this white space, you can write some text, or there is a visual called as card visual. So we will only discuss basics of a card visual for now. There is a visual like card. I just use this visual. And what I'll do the formatting afterwards. Inside a card visual, if you see, there is only one condition: the fields to display. Either you take a numerical value, either you take a categorical value, whichever field you want, you can take only one single value inside a card. There is only one condition which is called as fields. So what I will do is I'll try to take sales, which is your sum of sales, total sum of sales, total. And I'll just compress this to be fit inside a donut. Now the question is, it is not looking that great, right? Okay, I'll just click on this. Maybe there are two visual formatting options. I would take that same text format and I'll reduce the size, right? I'll reduce the size, I'll make it bold. Then this is a value, call out value. I'll try to take it as a brown color only because somewhere I'm using that brown shade. And let me go to the label. Label is what? The below label, sum of sales label. So if I off this, that label is gone. Fine, I'll keep a label. I'll keep that label. I'll use that same font, the same font family, which I've been using across Arial. I mean, that's how the formatting works. And I'll go to the general. In the general, there is an effects. I'll off the background, as if there is no visual here. How effects matter? There is no visual. We always assume that there is no visual, right? But there is a visual. I've just kept the background to 0. It should merge with the background, whatever background color we have. So if you compare these two charts, people always go with the donut chart rather going with the pie chart. Why? Because you have a flexibility that you can add some information inside that hole or a donut. And as if there is only one visual. See, I've overlapped the visuals. There are two visuals. I know there are two visuals. But end user, no one would be able to guess it also, right? That's how formatting should be done. Now, rather than sum of sales, see how Power BI flexible is it? If you rename whatever column I have dragged it to the fields, I can take sum, I can take average. If it's a category, I mean, numerical data, you have many aggregations which are available. If I want this sum of sales to be written as total sales, I don't want sum of sales. So if I just go to formatting, I cannot format the category label. I mean, I can do font change, I can do font size change, or what should be the color of a font. Like I'll take that same brown color. But the question is, I want to change the value which is displayed here. Like rather than sum of sales, it should be total sales. That can be done from a title. Like if you add a title, this will be total sales. But why do I need a title, right? I want to change it. Okay, fine. We have an option to change the title if you add a title, but I don't want a title. We already have a category label. I should off this and then I should add a title. Or how flexible the reporting tool or a Power BI is, you can rename the column here. See, if I rename a column here, that doesn't mean it will renamed in the data set. In the data set, it will be as it is. I'll just rename it in the visual. Total sales. Done, enter. Automatically it will be updated what is being displayed. And if you see that sales column is still the same in the data set, original data set, I'm just renaming it here in the visual, right? If I just hover on it, it is still the same sample superstore, sum of sales column only. But for displaying purpose, I have renamed that column. Benefit of using donut over a pie chart. Everything remains same. The only thing is in donut, you can give some additional information. It has a small edge over the pie chart. Not a very big difference, but a small edge. That small edge has that readability more, or maybe understanding the aspect of it is very easy, right? This is total sales, and these are the bifurcation of percentage for that every region or a segment, right? I would also like to have a region legend I've removed, right? I'll add a legend. Legend will give you a more clarity. Legend will give us more clarity. Maybe I'll take it down. So you have to do the format. So a pause here. Any questions on this donut or a pie chart and its comparison with 100% stacked bar or a column chart? Both are for percentage only, but one is for individual level performance, individual partitions or part performance, and the others are overall. Others in the sense pie and donut. Overall percentage bifurcation. And if any at any given point of time, if someone asks that I want percentage bifurcation, blindly you have to go with a pie chart or a donut chart. If they want individual, then you can go with the stacked bar or a column chart. The 100% is stacked. Any questions on this visuals?
Uh, this currently we have a less data, so maybe it will looks clearly here. If we have a more data in a pie chart or we have in a donut chart, then it will make become messy. Then what should be chosen?
Readability, it won't, right? You see, the only thing is, as I've said, details is optional. Like if I take category, three categories, good. If I take sub-category, there are more than five, I guess there are more than 10 categories. There are 17 categories it seems. So in that case, see, even this is readable. I'm not saying it is not readable. This is still readable. The information is still readable. There is nothing wrong in that. Wherever you feel it is losing its readability, that means the chart is of no use. Subcategory is fine. But if I take city, there is a city also. Chart looks very interesting, right? But this is not readable. So in that case, there is one more option which you have to do. You can only display some top 10 cities, top 10 cities, top 15 cities, wherever the information is readable. So how do we do that top 10? There is an option. There are two ways to do that. So we will discuss that option as well. But as I've said, if the readability is not good, then there is no benefit of it, right? Readability should be the first aspect. And as I've said, either you have legend or values, or either you have detail or values, or details is optional. There is no compulsion of this third condition. If at all you feel you have limited legends, then you can end up having the details. And see, there is a undo option also, like whatever columns I've applied, either you use Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. It will again go back. Right? It is going back. It would again go back. Or at the topmost corners, you have this undo and redo. These two arrows. Wherever I'm hovering towards left corner above, wherever that name of that PBI is there, right? I mean, whatever name you have given it at what time you have saved it, next to that you have two arrows, undo and redo. Either you use with Control Z or you can go with these arrows, undo and redo.
I have a question.
Steve, yeah, go ahead.
How do you represent in this donut? You were talking about the missing value or missing category. How can you represent it in?
This value, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now we are not missing that value. We are still showing. Yeah, though there is no label for it. Label doesn't represent that value, right? Okay. Yes, label is giving you some idea. If this label is not there, I mean, visual has that option to hover. We can hover our cursor on it. Once we hover it, it will give
Oh,
us.
okay.
It would
Okay,
give us
got
that
it.
tooltip, right?
Okay, got it.
Because of that space complexity, it is not able to display that label. Fine, that's fine. Still, it is. Tooltips, the most important part, wherever there is no display or a label, you just hover on that partition. It will give you a tooltip for it.
So, in what scenario would you recommend a pie chart instead of a donut chart? Let's say you're giving a presentation.
Now, see, people can go with a pie chart here. The only question is if I would like to show some aggregated numerical value, like sum of sales, or maybe I would like to show average of sales, or I would like to write some text, like what this chart is about. I would like to write some 2 3 lines of text. You can end up writing it in this space which is available in a donut, right? Which, see, I will take this as it is. Let me take a copy of it. Control C, Control V. I'll just get it down. Now what I'll do is I would go to the effect and I'll add a background. Or maybe if I don't add a background, I'll go to a visual. I'll just update the colors. I'll take it white. It even the same
Oh,
goes.
okay.
Now the question is, even though I make it a good white color which is visible, still it is not as good as a donut chart. So
So the
donut
donut's
chart
pretty
is
much more effective when
more
displaying the
effective, or
tones in
maybe
the
you
center.
want to show some additional information. You want to highlight some information, then in that case you go with a donut. I'm not saying that donut is the only useful chart as compared to pie. It is up to us. If I would like to show some additional information, like to display it, then you might end up using a donut chart.
So if you want to display, when is it better to use the labels versus the legends?
Okay. Now, legends and labels in the sense the details, like labels are a part of detail labels. So recommended is, now here the readability is good. That's the reason I can, the limited number of legends and limited number of segments or details. But if I end up adding subcategory, though it looks very
Wow.
interesting, but I mean the partitions, if I hover on it also, it's very small partitions. Readability is 0. Visual level, it is very good, looking good. Readability is 0. So it is good to have limited options. Wherever you can read, only take that information.
So what if the data doesn't sum? It doesn't sum to 100%. Let's say it's less than 100%.
It would. For sure it would. We may not see that partition, but end of the day, it would sum up to 100%. That's how this chart is developed. Though I take a sub-category here, you end up adding all these percentage, and there are small percentage which are not displayed also. So you just have to hover on
Oh,
every
okay.
partition.
Oh, that's a lot.
So it would end up 100%.
It's always 100%.
It's always 100%. And overall 100%. If I end up taking this visual, yeah, individually we can have that partitions. Like rather than region, if I take a subcategory. Though here it is also giving you percentage bifurcation. This is readable. This is still readable. Maybe I would like to add some data labels. And if you see, data labels is still on, but there is some icon to it. Data labels can't be shown, enlarge the visual or decrease the data label text size. Okay, I'll just count. I'll not show any details or background to it. I'll reduce the size. Now, somewhere some conditions are available. The reason why it is not displaying here is, see, there is a limitation that data labels are not able to understand. There are so many subcategories that where should I show that percentage? Though it is readable, right? Usually the charts are not so big. If I increase the size, everything comes up. If I decrease the size, slowly everything goes away. If I increase the size, everything comes up. Decrease, some columns are given. So visual is auto adjusted depending on the data and size of it. So here also, if I compress, right, see, automatically it is reducing. And if I increase somewhere, it would end up adding more labels. Now it is all on us. How do we understand it? It is all on us. How do we understand the partitions work? Readability is the fact. If you understand, if you read, fair. If you're not able to read it, then we might have to have some slicing of it. Slicing in the sense some filters have to be applied. We will discuss filters, a component, a part of filters today as well. But any other questions on this pie, donut, or stacked 100% charts?
So pretty much when you look at the Power BI, you just take the data, those icon, category, city, country, and then you just drag it into the tool tips, pretty much.
Tooltip, it does see the tooltip option which you have. This is an additional option. By default, every visual will have a tooltip built for it. This is an additional option. If I would like to show some additional tooltip in the existing tooltip, you have to drag it to that tooltip. By default, see, I haven't added anything in the tooltip, right? Though it is still mentioning tooltips are by default. Yes. And wherever there is a no label, tooltip would give us that clarity. Okay. For region south, segment home office, there is no label. Now it is saying that it is 54,000 to 54.52, which is 2.17 percentage overall 100 percentage donut. It is occupying only 2.17.
So it's always automatic.
Yeah, it is all automatic. Tooltip is by default. It is automatic. Maybe if I just click on that visual, go to format, go to general, and if I off this tooltip, then there are no tools.
There's no tooltip. Okay.
So this is by default on. By default, you need not on it. By default, it is enabled. Now,
So what's the most common mistake the beginners always make when it comes to?
I mean, formatting is the first mistake which everyone does. And
Or
the second
formatting.
part is readability, that people would not be able to read that information very easily, right? Though they drag it, but they'll not understand what is this about. So as we are not aware, how does a end user reads it? See, whenever you're you're a reporting person, right? You should maintain a kind of information, a kind of uh, what you call, as if you are the stakeholder, you are reading this report, you should have that presence. Though I'm a developer, but I'm a stakeholder as well. If I'm able to understand, good. Do not think from a developer point of view. Think from an end user point of view who is only reading this, a business user. So in that case, these are one common mistakes what people do: colors, formatting, and readability.
I guess it's good to do a presentation using your laptop because those tooltips, if you print it on a paper, it won't show
Yeah, it
because
won't
it
show.
will just it won't show. Okay.
It has to be like it's a dynamic tool. So that's how you have to hover on it. Now,
Okay.
for every visual, see, for the previous batches, what I do is I try to maintain a sheet where clearly I mention that what that visual should show. Like I'll also create for this batch as well. For a stacked column chart in the x-axis, which is the best fit and what are the unfit conditions, just to make sure that you recall them. And where do we use that?
Where is this sheet?
Now, this is for a previous batch, not for this batch. So I would be creating for this batch as well.
Oh, okay.
So I usually maintain for every particular batch. And whatever discussions I do, I try to mention it, right? This info might change for batch to batch, but it's almost same. 90% is same, 10% is there is a variance. So what is good, what is bad? One C is categorical, one N is numerical, and there is one D as well, which we haven't discussed, which is a date related information. So I maintain it for all the visuals. Whichever visual we are trying to see, for every visual, I maintain what is best and what is not best or unfit. Now, I'll just take a copy of this bar chart. And if you see, we are always, until now we were all working on the categorical and numerical data types only. But if there is a date, right? If there is a date, now though we have order date and shipment date, what could be the possibility? Where does the date stand? See, you cannot you cannot take date in the x-axis here, right? For a bar chart, x is numerical, y is categorical. Though the date looks numeric only, it cannot be summed up, right? It looks numeric, but it is a categorical only. Like if I try to take an order date, I'll get down to the date hierarchy and I'll get a year. And I'll remove segment. This is a numerical data. The y-axis is also numerical, but dates look like a numerical, but they are categorical only. You cannot sum up the dates, right? 2019 is separate, 18 is separate. So it works like a categorical information only. So whenever you drag a complete column, right? I have only dragged year, but if I drag a complete column like order date, it will drag all four hierarchies. Now, where these four hierarchies will come? See, if you just focus on the visual only had three icons earlier. Now there are few more icons. So these are all advanced visualization options like drill up, drill down, drill through. These options will come into picture wherever you have multiple hierarchies. We would not discuss drill up and drill down now because it's a small, though it looks very easy, but you have to understand the background of it. But you can take any one condition, right? I'll remove year, I'll remove quarter, month, and day. I'll only go with year. So date also, though it is a date, but it acts like a categorical condition, though it looks numeric, because you cannot sum up or average the values of a date, right? So wherever there is a categorical possibility, you end up taking a date. That would match, that would have a good fit there.
Santosh, how did you create the date hierarchy column?
It didn't create. Wherever there is a date type data column, it would automatically get that date hierarchy. I haven't created it. You just have to change the date type to the table view. If you just go to the table view, if you just go to the order date or shipment date, just change the data type to date. Though
Yeah.
it is giving you wrong dates, but we are not assuming that dates as of now. How do we correct it? That's the second part. And just you convert it to date, you will get a date hierarchy. Wherever you see this calendar like icon, you just expand it, you'll get a date hierarchy.
Okay.
Any questions? And see, as I've said, date means categorical. Where is I mean, wherever there is a categorical fit, you use with or you go with date.
I think the hard part is to remember all these things at the same time.
Yep.
So how can you make it easy to remember all these? Just like
See,
practicing and
remember in the
practicing.
sense, you see, if you mug up, end of the day, you may not be able to recall it. The only thing is, if you understand that visual, fair. Yes, if you're new to this Power BI, it would take a 15 days time for few of you, maybe a 1 month of time for few of you. But end of the day, if you're practicing it, you would understand. If you practice it now and if you're again touch basing the same visual after 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe after 2 months, maybe it would take some time to recall it. Right? As I've said, right? If you're practicing, and as a every visual, we may not use it on everyday basis, right? This is the first set of visuals, the first set, like the first 6 visuals. Somewhere all the visuals are interrelated to each other. One is stacked, one is clustered, and one is 100% stacked. Though column and bar is vertical and horizontal, but everything remains same, right? So the first 6 visuals are very easy and they have a dependency on each other. Dependency in the sense somewhere similar to each other. Pie and donut, similar. The only thing is that space in between, right? The central space. Now there are some other visuals which might, like if you see, the second line also has some similarity across. Once we go through the second line of visuals, even they have that similarity. Now, one important topic that we are using visualization pane and data pane. What is the benefit of this filters pane? And for few of you, as I've said, right, if you are not able to view that filters pane, just go to the view in the ribbon bar and you will get an option called as filters here. You might have not, I mean, for some of you, this is not by default available. Something like this. You just click on this filters, show panes option in the ribbon bar from the view tab, and you will get that filters. There are other panes also, we will discuss that as well. But for now, let's focus what is filters pane. Filter pane, or rather filters, there are 3 types of filters. Now, for me, there are 3 types. For you, there are only 2 types. Is it that case? No. If I click on white space, there are 2 types. If I click on visual, there are 3 types. What does this mean? Filter on a visual, filter on a page, and filter on all the pages. That means inside a report, how many pages are there inside one single report? Across all the pages or complete report, filter can also be applied. So whenever you drag any column to that visual, by default, that column would be available whenever you click on this visual in the filters on this visual. Filters is what? Filter means some filtering information. Like, I would not like to display all the ears. I'll just go to ear. There is an option called as, see, in filters, there are multiple options. We would discuss every option in detail. Let's only understand basic filtering for today. I mean, we are trying to understand what are filters. How does a filter works? The advanced filter options we'll try to understand going further. But let's consider basic filtering. And I would only like to display 2018 and 19. Select only two. Two conditions are displayed. So this is filter on a visual. See, this is only affecting a visual here. This is not affecting the other visuals. Though we don't have other visuals here, but only on one visual it is working. Or I would like to display only one region, central. Central information, central and east information. So filter on a visual. Now what is filter on a page? Page means if you see by default, if you add any column, filter on a visual will get that columns added on that visual. But filter on this page, there are no conditions, right? You can add it. So I'll go to a page where there are two visuals, like this page. So if I click on a visual, that filter on visual will come. But if I don't click, maybe I'm on the white space, only two filters are there. So filter on this page. Page means what? See, if I apply filter here, like I would like to display central and east, only two regions would be displayed, but only this visual. It is not affecting this. If I want to add a option, a filter here on this visual, I should apply. But I should have a common condition that only two regions should be displayed in both the visuals. In that case, I will drag that region column to the filter on this page and I will add condition. See, both the visuals are changed. Why? Because I'm using filter on a page. If there are 10 visuals, all 10 visuals will be affected. If there are two visuals, all two visuals will be affected inside a particular page. This is filter on a page. Visual means individual visual level. Page means at a page level. And if you see the difference, see, I cannot remove this filter. Like I can remove if there are any filters are applied. And you see, this is all dynamic. I've selected central and east, only central and east are visible on the visual also. That's how, because on the complete page level, I've applied a filter, right? So on a visual also, you can see only that two conditions. Now there is no option to remove it. Like maybe I would. And how do you clear a filter? Either you select all or you have a eraser like option, clear filter. Let's clear it. So if you see, there is no cross option here. I cannot remove this region column, like which is applied filter on a visual. Why? Because that region is a part of a legend inside a visual. Whereas if you see, I can remove this region filter on this page because I have additionally added this. I've additionally added this. So wherever you see a cross mark, that means that is either on a page or even you can apply, like it doesn't mean that only region it can filter. If I add a category to a visual also, you will get a cross icon because category is not a part of visual, right? It is not a part of visual. I'm adding it as a filter condition. So if I add a filter, only furniture information will be displayed. If I add a filter, furniture and office supplies will be displayed. Maybe if I want to clear it with the eraser icon, then I can remove that column itself. But the columns which are already part of that visual, you cannot delete them. So this is filter on a visual. Filter on a page means that particular page you can apply a filter. Or how many visuals are there, all that visuals will affect it. And there is one more option, filter on all the pages. That means if I add a region here and then I filter central and east, you go to whichever page. See, only two regions are there. Only two regions are there. Only two regions are there. Only two regions. Now, there is no region condition here. That's the reason everything is displayed, but only two regions, central and east. Because this is across all the pages of that one single report. Filter on all the pages. Not on single page, not on single visual, but across all the pages, across all the visuals.
So when you click select all, you only check the central and the east. So it didn't select
No,
south
no,
or
no.
west.
See, select all means you will get a tick mark. But if you're getting a
Oh,
dotted icon like something like this, that means only few
oh,
selections.
oh, got you. I see how it works. Okay.
So filters are also a part and parcel of Power BI. It has a huge impact on any particular visual, whatever. And see, how come if I add a category to this visual, filter on a visual I'm doing, if I'm adding a category, though category is not a part of it, nowhere I've taken a category, right? If you see, there is no category here in the any of this condition of this 100% is stacked, not 100%, it's a kind of bar chart, stacked bar chart, but there is no category, right? How come a category is filtering them? If I use furniture, it is getting changed. If I use office supply, it is getting changed. Because category is also part of that same data set, right? Though it is not a part of visual, but that category will also have an impact inside a data set. Somewhere category will also have an impact, right? So wherever you feel a column which is already part of that same table from where you have taken the conditions of that visual, or if there is a relationship, either category might be coming from a different table. There is a possibility, but that table is related to Superstore. If there is already a modeling or a relation between these two tables, in that case, category will have an impact, though it is not a part of that visual directly. Relationships. Power BI will always relate it to each other. If it is of the same table, it will have a by default relationship. Though it is out of a table, but there is a relationship between that table. In that case also, it will have a direct impact. Fair? So basic conditions we discussed. There are many things which we have to be discussed on this filter space. Right? You have different filters. You can apply top filter from here also. Like if there are 20, 30 values, visual is not representing, not readable, you display top five only. Right? Business focus on the top five or maybe bottom five, wherever there are low conditions.
So in Power BI, that's mean that we only have three type of filter, right? The visual, the page, and report. That's it, right?
Yes, visual, page, and report. Three types of filters.
Okay.
Right? Any other questions on
So
what we discussed?
so the
It is sorry.
the visual, it's only focused on one visual, and the page, pretty much all the visual in one page. Is that
Yes.
is that am I right or am I wrong?
Yep, you're all correct.
And the report will affect the entire report pretty much.
Yes. So if you add it at report level, it would affect across.
Can you do it? Can you do it over there, the report, and then see how it goes?
So if I add a state on all the pages, which is at a report level, and if I only filter California, only California information. And how come California is only displaying West, right? I'm not applying. California is a part of West region in US. So automatically somewhere it is related. And if you see, maybe this visual will have a zero impact. There is no direct applicability. Does it have? Let's see, right? Yeah, it is a change. Though it is not having a region, but somehow California information. And if you see across all the pages, only that is displayed. Because filter on all the pages we have.
Oh, you filter all the pages open.
Report level, all the pages. One and the same. It is called as filter on all the pages, but filter on a report. You can call it on a report, right? One single report. Now, any questions on what we discussed again?
Hi,
I
Ritesh.
have
Maybe one at a time. Nilu, you can go ahead.
I have one question on that. Sorry.
Nilendra, just have a minute. I guess I'll go through it. Yeah, Nilu, you can go ahead, I guess.
Okay, can I ask Ritesh?
Yeah, go ahead.
So hi. I have gone through the recording classes, and in the classes, like you said me how to load the data, right?
Uh,
But when I am trying to load the data into the Power BI, but it is going to the editor page, like Power Editor.
that's how, right? See, one thing, if you load it, it will directly come to the, whenever you connect any data, right? Like if I just go back, if I use a text or a CSV, right? And if I am going to open a particular file, if you transform it, it will go to Power Query. And as I've said, every data which is connected to the Power BI, it comes through Power Query only, right? Power Query is the first component. So if you just load it, it will directly come into the front end. It will take some time. It will do its own changes because it has to come through that Power Query and then it will directly come here. Right? Loaded car data is also available here.
Oh, okay. So
If you
just
click on the transform, it will open that Power Query.
sorry, Ritesh.
If you open a transform that option, there is a transform option.
Okay,
And as I've said, right, every data comes from a Power Query only. Power Query is the first component which it will filter and then it will push it to the Power Query. It has to come
okay,
through Power Query. There is nothing wrong in that.
okay. But it is showing in the editor like some I'm unable to load the data.
Why are you unable to? Okay, just give
Like it
me.
is showing some sort of sample superstore dot
Have you
zip.
logged in on the laptop?
Yes, I have done it.
Okay, cool. I'll just wait for 5 more minutes. Maybe we can go ahead and share your screen. We'll go through it. I'll take
Okay.
up the other questions and then we'll go through it. Yeah, Nilendra, I
Yeah,
guess you
sure.
have a question.
Actually, I have a question regarding filter only. That
Hmm.
as we know that when we are showing the visual in a single page, and
Uh,
we are applying the all the filters in a single page, and we have option to filter show the filter in page. Then filter on all page also it's showing. Are we in what condition we are giving multiple pages to show the presentation like that?
if you want a hard-coded filter to be applied across all the pages, then we go with that, right?
No, no, no. In what kind of requirement we are
See,
getting
the
from
question
client
again
end?
comes. The question again comes. If you're learning visuals, you are expecting how at a report level we can add. Fair. As I've said, if a report is developed for 5, 6 regions, but I only want to show one single region across all the pages for at a given point of time, you add that filter on all the pages. If you want to show any particular visual or information of that report for a particular region only, then you apply that filter on all the pages, right? That's what I've said.
No, 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 no. My question was there. Are we creating report for multiple pages based also or single page only?
See, the question again, I'm again saying report is not always one single page. A report
Okay.
can be 5 pages, 10 pages.
Okay.
That's the reason they have that option, right?
Yeah.
Report is not always a single page. Yeah, sometimes you may end up taking one single page report, but not always, right?
Okay.
So, Ritesh, those data, the card data, the superstore data, did you
Mhm.
send it to us or no?
It is. If you are accessing the free sessions, there is already a data. Like,
Where is
okay,
it?
now anyways, I would again show it. One who wants to continue with these sessions going further, for them also, let's have this discussion and then maybe you would get a clarity that how would you get this data, right? So if you're new to the KSR Data Vision, just go to our website, just click on login. Maybe you might have already enrolled it, assuming enrolled in the sense registered you, right? You might have already had an account. So mention that email ID and password, click on sign in. Once you are into sign in, data sets are all available. I mean, people who joined with SQL, you know how to download it. People who are new to this 5 sessions, for them, maybe you can see that free preview already added to your bucket, right? This particular free preview. Just click on that free preview window, I mean, the course. You have an option called as Superstore dataset, electronic store dataset
Oh, I see.
in the modules. You just click on download it. If you're going through sessions, it would be sessions tab. That's the difference. And you can go through previous sessions like 12th, 13th, 14th, 16th, and 17th. Today is the last free session. Tomorrow, we would start with the paid one. We would be continuing where we left today, like filters and the further visuals. Now, if you would like to, like, this is a free preview window. For the paid preview window, you just have to go to courses, paid sessions, the sixth one, just click here. Then it would give you an option to buy now. Once you are done with the payment, or if you're doing it with, I mean, the KSR team, if you contact that team, this window would be automatically added. So all the recordings of first 5 sessions would also be auto adjusted here. You can see all first 5 days recordings,
ते
including from
अमितचं आहे वाटतं खाली त्याच्यात पाणी आहे
including further recordings as well from tomorrow onwards. For first few days, a confusion would be there. Yeah, there would be a confusion. Fine, maybe we can go through it. Now, as I've said, what is covered, this is all it's covered. 4 months, complete 4 months, including SQL, Power BI, and Azure, Monday to Friday, 8 to 9:30 a.m. IST. This is about the course and the session duration, right? We would not have that complete 90 minutes of discussion every day. We only have 70 minutes of discussion. Maybe 20 minutes is buffer for small, maybe if you have any question, anything additionally I would like to discuss. And as I've said, apart from the technical skills, we would be discussing all this. We would have domain sessions in between. We would have project management session, resume building session, interview preparation session. All these sessions would be there. For SQL, I've taken one simple session for interview prep. The last session, what we had for SQL, it was all about interview prep only.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go to the paid one.
Fair. So at any given point of time, if you're getting confused, reach out to a team, right? You can WhatsApp them, you can contact them. Someone should get back to you if they are not picking up the calls at any given point of time. Fair. I'll just take a pause. Neelu, if you can just go ahead, I'll stop sharing. If you are still there, maybe just go ahead and share your screen. Let's see what is it blocking.
Yes, Ritesh. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, you can go ahead, share your screen.
Is it visible?
No, it's not visible. There is a share option below.
Yeah. I am just.
Yeah, it has started. You just open the Power BI. So can you apply the changes? That changes which are there, apply that. Below, above, apply changes. No, not there. You can see a notification, right? Apply changes, discard changes, apply the changes. The red color notification, what you have. Yeah, go to apply changes. Yes, click on that. So if you do any changes in the background, that changes would be updated and it would come up in the front end. Now it seems there is no data. Can you just go to transform data? Transform data. Yeah, go to Power Query Editor, transform data. Yes. Okay. Now one thing. What is a zip file? You know a zip file? What is a zip file? Zip is a compressed file. Open wherever have you downloaded that zip file. Where did you download that zip file? No, not there. I guess the folder. Below you have a folder icon, right? Folder icon. Yeah. Open it. Not here. The other window, it seems. Is it in the downloads? Yeah. See, it's a zip file. Double click on it. Double click on it. Unzip it. There is an option, unzip. Yeah. Extract. Yes. Yes, extract all. Click on extract all. Yes, extract. Yeah. So you can copy this, cut this and paste in the downloads option. Cut. Control X, or you have a cut option, right? Copy or cut, anything is fine. Yeah. Go to downloads folder now. Go back. Paste it here. Control V or paste. Done. Now you connect this CSV file. You are connecting that zip. Zip is a compressed folder. It is not a file. It is a folder. Now you connect this, it would come up. Go to the Power BI, Power Query or Power BI anywhere. Power View also you can. Go to Power View, get data, text or a CSV. Yes, connect that sample superstore. Open. Load it rather than transform, load it. It would again anyways go to the Power Query and then it would come up. Fair? You can get that, right? Expand it. Not there. You have a drop down, right? Towards left. Yes. Drop down. Yeah. Now you can see all the columns. See, one thing. There are few, maybe good, right, Nilu? I mean, anything else to discuss or maybe fine. I'll start sharing my screen again. Now, there are few things which I would like to highlight. See, at given point of time, you should have some basic computer information, like basic computer understanding. How the information is stored in a computer, how do you connect it to Power BI is our part. But how do you access any application inside a computer? That basic understanding is must. Maybe at some point of time, someone gets confused, I can come up and help you because we are at a very slow pace. Now, after 10 sessions, we might reach out or we might be at a given pace that we cannot go back and check each and every individual's where are you stuck.
Okay.
I can help you, but how do we identify somewhere we are going wrong? Where are we going wrong? Everyone is saying use AI, right? Why not use AI to ask a question? I'm not able to connect. Why? Where? Use ChatGPT. Right? The more you get exposure to AI, the better is for you. Only thing, you do not use AI for interviews. If you use AI for interviews, nowhere you will be selected. Though you clear one round, the second round you would be somewhere they would analyze you that okay, you're trying to copy, you're trying to read it. Use AI wherever it is possible. Do not think about it that okay, if I'm stuck here, I need to wait till next session. You can ask a question. I may not be able to answer it very immediately, but at the end of the day, I'll take up. If you want immediate answers, use as much as possible. If AI is not helping you, anyways, I'm there. I would come up and take that. Now, any other questions?
Yeah, I'm just on pay version now. I think I'm gonna just pay so I can get all this data that you just show
Yeah.
how to download.
Cool. Maybe you can take your time, just go back and check with the team if you're stuck somewhere, and then you can further proceed, right?
Yeah, because I'm on a data engineering already course,
Mhm.
but they're already ahead of me, like way like a week ahead of me. So I'm trying to see which one is better option if I can keep doing data, the Power BI, because Power BI, I'm on, I'm not behind. The only thing behind is SQL. Everything else is fine, but I'm trying to see because if I can start the data engineering next session,
Mhm.
because they already passed me already.
So are you targeting data engineering or are you targeting data analytics? There is a difference, right? There is a primary difference in
Yeah,
both of them.
I find that the data engineering it was getting more complicated for a little bit because they're already ahead of me. But
Yeah.
the Power BI, I find it very easy to understand because I have a little bit of knowledge of Excel,
Hmm.
and it's it's easy to understand and also
People who
not
knows
that
Excel, for them it's very easy. The UI is straightforward.
yes. So that's why I feel like maybe I should just finish the Power BI and then study data engineering later on because I already paid for 2 sessions for data engineering.
Mhm. Fair. Yeah, you can take your maybe decision is up to you. You can take that decision. Well, if at all at any point, right, if you have any questions, reach out to our team. Right, there would be a sure there's some confusion would come up. Then in that case, you reach out to our team. Yeah, and you are based out of which time zone? EST,
So,
CST,
I mean, mountain time in
MST, right? Okay, fair. Okay.
yeah, Misty. So here it's at night. So over there it's in the morning. We are 12 hours behind.
Hmm.
Because this session works for me better because data engineering they study at night and it's in the morning here and I'm at work, so it's very hard for me to study.
Fair. Somewhere it's around 12 hours difference, right? 12 and a half. MST, it's somewhere 9 p.m. in the evening. Fair, right? Is it correct, right? 9 p.m.
It is 909. Yes, exactly.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I got you. Yeah. Anyone, any other questions?
Yeah, Ritesh, I have a doubt.
Hey, Vivek.
So, can you open a Power BI screen?
Yes.
So you told like once the filter is done, it will affect all the pages, right?
The filter on all the pages.
Okay. So whether it is we have any other option to lock a filter or anything else
Yes, there is a lock.
in a
There is a lock.
single.
That if
Okay.
we have edited it, no one should edit it. In the desktop, everyone can edit. Like if I add a region on all pages and if I mention center, I'm a developer. I can see that filter, but there is a lock icon here. If I lock it, see, though I lock it, I can still edit it because I'm a developer. But if I save this report and publish it to the service, where people will read this report. For them, the filter is locked. They can see options, but they cannot edit. If you want to lock also, and if you want to hide also, that there is a filter which is applied, which is locked and it is not visible, in that case, there is a hide filter options. So neither the end user, once you publish this report, cannot change or cannot view the filter itself. These options are there.
Okay, okay. So we have both options, right? We can use filter on this page to edit the things in single page, and
Yes.
also for all the pages.
All the pages on a page on visual. All three options, not two, three. Filters are three filters. All three filters are
Yeah, yeah.
and you can hide any filter. Yeah? It doesn't mean that you cannot hide this. You can hide any filter, you can lock any filter.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thanks for your help.
Thank you. Still, maybe I'll wait for 3 or 4 more minutes and then maybe we can wind up for today. If you have any questions, again, right, you may not be having a question with respect to the technical discussion. Maybe how do I access the recordings? How do I make a payment? In that case, maybe you can reach out to our team again.
Ritesh, one thing, Ritesh.
Mhm.
Ritesh, though we consider year as a category, numeric, sorry,
Mhm.
categorical
Category.
category. So do we able to apply the Zoom for that?
Uh, what are you like to apply? I missed that last part. Can you please repeat it?
The Zoom slider.
Slider, right?
Yeah.
Oh, see, why is it giving you a slider? Usually slider is for numeric data. But if I remove this, what it is trying to do, it is only displaying 3 years, right? You have skipped that 90. Slider is only to slide some information. I have all the years, but I'm only showing 2 years. Like some end user wants to only check. See how powerful the Power BI is. I'll show you one option. I'll remove this legend. I'll select 16, I'll select 17, and I'll exclude the other two conditions. There is an option to include and exclude as well. Like, how do I do that? Only two are included. There is no 17 and 18. Sorry, there is no 18 and 19. 16 and 17 are only. Though we have taken all the data, but how come only these two conditions? You have an option called as include only few data points, exclude few data points. And there is one more benefit of it. Now the question is, how do I get everything right? By default, there is a filter applied. You just remove that filter. Everything would come up. Now, from 17 to 18, there is a increase, right? A good amount of increase. This is just a high level insights. There is an option called as analyze. What does this mean? Explain the increase. It will create analysis for you. AI. Someone had a question yesterday. Where do we use a AI? This is AI. It is automatically understanding that there is an increase. Why there is an increase with respect to some person, with respect to some sales order or a customer ID, with respect to a particular city, with respect to particular state or a product which is sold. It is doing all this automated analysis. Power BI. Not a very simple tool. It's a complex tool. Though it looks very simple, but it is at par with the other reporting tools. These are all the features which makes Power BI a leader, right? The many things which we have to explore, many options. Yep. Any other questions?
I just wanted to ask you, so you say this only 4 months, is it till April also included if we study the SQL, or it's gonna be 5 months because
No, it's
SQL?
4 months, including SQL. It's 4 months. If you can, maybe if you have started with Power BI and Azure would take 3 months, and SQL again 1 month. Overall 4 months.
Oh, okay. So you're looking in April, something like that, or in May?
So we started in February, March, April, May. We would start in May, probably end of May.
End of May. Okay, cool.
Any other questions? Okay, so silence, I'm taking it as no. Again, as I've said, right, if you have any questions, please reach out to our team. They would, for sure, they would reach out, or they would definitely help you on call. Assuming that there are no questions and good for today, thank you everyone. Have a very good day ahead, and let's connect back tomorrow, right, in the next session. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.